What's up guys, this is Jeff from Sorta Healthy, and today I'm bringing to all of you a video that I probably should have made a little while ago. Better late than never though. Today we're talking about communication skills that you should have as a personal trainer. I've covered this topic indirectly in previous videos, but today I'll be diving into this topic with more focus and detail. To be successful as a personal trainer, you do need to communicate effectively. Believe it or not though, you actually don't have to be that good of a communicator. I'm an introvert. I'm not an outgoing person who always feels the need to be the center of attention. If you saw me in action in a gym or fitness facility, you would never know that. This is because over the years I have acquired a very particular set of skills. Skills that I'll be passing on to all of you who are willing to learn. Before we get into all that, all I ask is that you consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel if you haven't done so already. This is the best way to support this channel, which is a free resource to all fitness professionals. Thank you for the continued support, everyone. Without that support, none of this is possible. So in today's video, I have 5 strategies, and those strategies are in no particular order. If you can master all 5, becoming a successful personal trainer turns into a relatively easy task. My first strategy is compliment people often and always be as genuine as you can be. This probably sounds a little bit obvious, but let me key you guys into a little secret. The more you genuinely compliment someone, the more they will like you. People who give sincere compliments often are viewed as more charismatic and better communicators. I just used 2 key words in those last 2 statements: genuine and sincere. Your compliments need to be genuine and sincere. If you notice that a client is looking a little bit leaner or more muscular, you absolutely need to tell them. Don't lie and tell them that if you don't see it, but if you do, you'd be a fool to not let them know. You can absolutely make someone's day with a well-placed compliment. And besides the fact that this is obviously a good and nice thing to do, there are of course monetary reasons to do this as well. Your clients will definitely be more willing to train with you continually if they like you. I know, duh, Jeff, how obvious is this stuff that you're saying today? Well, if it's so obvious, why don't you do it then? Okay, I might not be talking about you directly, but in all seriousness though, I don't see that many trainers do this well at all. So of course, don't let that be you. Another time when I'm likely to give a client some extra compliments is when they don't do something well and they know it. Let's say I have a client who keeps losing their balance during split squats. They're getting frustrated and they're letting me know about it. I will genuinely try to find something that they're doing well with and remind them of their progress. I might say, split squats are hard. Most people struggle with those. Your balance and strength have gotten a lot better though. And with more practice, you'll get the hang of the split squats too. Always remember that many people are partially seeing you due to a lack of confidence. Whether they gained weight over the years by being inactive and eating the wrong things, or maybe they're much weaker than they used to be when they were working out on a regular basis. Their confidence is probably lower than you think, and probably lower than they care to admit. They didn't hire you and pay you large sums of money for no reason. Throwing in some genuine compliments on a regular basis, when appropriate, can really help them to feel confident and of course to like you more. As said before, everyone wins here. My next strategy is to become a master of asking good questions. Questions are king. Every time when your client walks in, after greeting them, there are always a few questions that you should ask. Always ask them how they're feeling, and always ask them if they're sore anywhere. Not only are these questions practical, they also get the communication train moving. They're practical because they let you know if you need to do any last-minute changes to today's workout. If someone's coming in with some sore hamstrings from some weekend warrior activities, I'm probably not going to have them do 5 rounds of deadlifts that day. Like mentioned before though, these questions open up the lines of communication too, which to some extent should stay open for the rest of the session. Some of the questions that I'm about to bring up have been discussed in previous videos, but I'm bringing them up today as well because they're important and they need to be asked. Many times when clients are doing exercises, I'll ask things like, how does this exercise feel? Easy, medium, or hard? After finishing an exercise, I might ask, how many more reps do you think you could have done on that last exercise? I ask questions like those ones to figure out if I need to make certain exercises easier or harder. If someone said the exercise felt easy or they could have done 5 more reps, I make the move harder. We usually want at least medium difficulty, with only a few reps left in reserve. As always, exceptions do exist. I make sure to ask, where did you feel that exercise the most with certain moves? I follow that up right away with no right or wrong answer to that question. That way they don't feel like I'm quizzing them or anything. I ask these 2 things the most with glute and core exercises because many people have trouble activating those muscle groups properly. If they're feeling a move like a plank, for instance, mostly in their legs, well, something's probably not going right there. Maybe their back was in the wrong position, maybe they weren't tightening their core enough. It's impossible to have the answers if we never ask the right questions. If you see your client wincing during or after an exercise or rubbing an area, ask them if they're okay or if they feel any pain there. Don't pretend like you didn't see their reaction. It's also very important to ask some nutrition-based questions as well. You could ask, how has your food journaling been going? Or how have your hunger levels been since we lowered your calories a bit? Or you could simply ask, what's for dinner? Get the conversation going and try and keep it relevant to their goals most of the time. You certainly don't have to keep the conversation solely focused on their exercise and nutrition though. With most clients, you should probably ask at least a few rapport building questions every session. Examples include, what do you have going on for the rest of the week? How's your family been? Do you have any good trips coming up soon? You need to build a connection with your client if you want to train them long term. This means that you'll need to get to know them a bit. You also need to make your sessions enjoyable. Why am I going to pay you thousands of dollars to train me if you just stand there silently? That's boring, maybe even a little bit uncomfortable. I'm not going to pay you in that situation, at least not for long. So be engaging and ask lots of questions. Don't let the chit chat get in the way of your work, but don't underestimate the value of asking good questions. Questions are king. My next strategy builds upon the last one, and this strategy is to keep the conversation about them. They are paying you for your time, not the other way around. The focus needs to be on them, and you're steering the ship. When they're in the gym, they're in your domain, and you are the expert. Don't let this go to your head though. Your mission is still to help them. Again, that's what they're paying you for. Let's go back to a question that we asked before. What do you have going on for the rest of the week? After they answer that question, they'll likely ask you the same thing. Answer the question honestly and be as fun and detailed as you think makes sense given their personality. And after that, return the focus of the conversation back to them. Remember, you steer the ship. When you're in the gym or fitness facility, you're in charge. You talking about yourself often will go from interesting at first to a little bit annoying, and eventually you'll just seem like a conceited egomaniac. If you talk about yourself to your clients too much, they'll eventually start to think, am I really paying this guy to tell me about himself? What the f am I doing? And I think you all understand that's not what we're going for here. If you keep the conversation mostly focused on them, they'll never think anything like that. They'll think, wow, Jeff is a really caring trainer. He's always checking in on my family and what I have going on. You won't come off as conceited, you'll come off as caring, and ultimately that will make you successful. Now, I should say here that I do genuinely care about what my clients have going on in their lives. I genuinely care about how their family is doing. I care because I want them to do well. People have pretty good instincts when it comes to things like this, so be as genuine as you can be when getting to know your clients. My next strategy seems so obvious to me, but I know unfortunately a ton of trainers screw this one up, and it ruins their chances of being successful. The strategy is to be as positive as possible always. If I haven't made it clear already, if you're not enjoyable to be around, you will not be successful in this field. Unless you're positive, no one's going to want to be around you. Think about how much time you'll be spending around your clients too. I mean, you'll be seeing most of them for a few hours almost every single week. That's quite a bit more than you'll see most of your friends and family members. If you're not positive and upbeat, well, yeah, you're just gonna get old really fast. Also remember, they are paying you to help them make a positive change. Whether you're gonna help them lose weight, get stronger, or whatever else, you're being hired to help them feel better. If you're not being positive, then not only are you failing on that mission a little bit, but you're also shooting yourself in the foot and making things so much harder than they need to be. If your client is feeling down, be the cheerleader and boost them back up. It's part of the job. Again, when they're feeling down or their confidence is waning, let them know what they're doing well. Steer the ship. You're in charge. Oh, and by the way, while we're on the subject of positivity, make sure to greet your client when you first see them for the day, and always make sure to greet them by their name. There is absolutely power in greeting someone by their actual name. It's a much more personal touch that will pay off in the long run. You're a personal trainer after all. Get personal. My last strategy to be an effective communicator as a trainer is to be confident. But what if I'm not confident? Well, fake it until you make it. In all seriousness though, I have an entire video right here on how to increase your confidence as a trainer. Check it out if you're struggling here. If you're not confident as a trainer or communicator though, yeah, back to what I was saying before. Fake it until you make it. Confidence is not built overnight. You need to put in the time, effort, and reps, if you will, to feel truly confident. In training, like most things, this takes time. Expect to feel very uncomfortable for your first year doing this. But even beyond that, try to view every client interaction as a learning experience. The hands-on experience you get from interacting with multiple clients early on is incredibly important. You can't replace it. Be aware though, it is very challenging and draining at times. Once you get past that first year, it does get a lot easier. Until that point though, you might have to fake it a little bit. And you might have to fake it a little bit because to be an effective communicator, you do need to sound convincing. You do have to genuinely believe what you're saying. All of that takes confidence, and like we said before, confidence does take time. If a client does ask you something that you don't know the answer to, don't lie and make something up. Tell them, I'm not sure about that one. Let me do a little research on that and I'll get back to you. At the end of the day though, they're in your domain and they probably know very little about exercise and everything else that you do. That alone should make you feel more confident. So remember, speak with conviction and sound as confident in your words as you can. can. It will make you a more effective speaker, and people will take what you have to say more seriously. Unlike my other strategies, this one can take some time to master, but you will master it if you're continually trying to better yourself and your skills. And that, my friends, is all that we have for today. Do you guys have any other communication strategies that you like to use with your own clients? If you do, make sure to let me know down below. And if you haven't liked the video yet or subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so because it does help the channel to grow, which does allow me to make more free content for all of you. Thank you very much for watching, everyone, and until next time, stay sorta healthy.